Hi everyone, this is Miss Naaman. I am the part-time school counselor here at Beachside. I am working with Miss Susan Kelly, who is our full-time school counselor, and I wanted to do a brief recording about social and emotional learning and the district's 10 minutes of mindfulness required component and of our school day, and also talk to you a little bit about what the resources are that Broward has that they've paid for that are available to us and how you can best access those resources. I thought doing a recording of this would be easier for you. This way you can go back and look at it if you forget how to access the resources, or so you just have them at your fingertips when you need them. So again, the purpose of this recording is to talk to you about what those resources, the SEL resources are, what they are, how to use them, and what's available to you. We'll also talk a little bit about what SEL is, and I'll leave you with some suggestions of how to best incorporate that in your classrooms. So what is SEL? Very briefly, social and emotional learning, otherwise known as SEL, is the process through which children and adults understand and manage their emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive friendships, and make responsible decisions. So basically, any aspect of human life that you can think of, interpersonal and between others, intrapersonal and interpersonal, is SEL. So why is it important to us as educators, and why are we taking the time to do this? Well, first of all, if you just think big picture, even without looking at this research, if your mind is preoccupied with harmful thoughts or thoughts that are not beneficial, or you're worried or concerned about something else, you are not going to be able to focus all your attention on what's in front of you. So that in the case of our students would be paying attention to what you are doing, or the teacher is doing on the board. So there's so many benefits of mindfulness. Just briefly, improved attention. Numerous studies show that our kids, or everyone, has shown improved attention, including better performance on objective tasks that require an extensive concentration span, such as focusing in school. Emotional regulation, being able to work well, with their peers. Mindfulness is associated with emotional regulation across a number of studies, and it actually creates changes in the brain that correspond to less reactivity and better able to engage in tasks even when emotions are activated. So what does that look like in the classroom when they're doing an assignment with another peer? Being able to handle conflicts on their own, being less reactive. All of these benefits of mindfulness directly relate to student success in the classroom and being able to perform their best. Also, greater compassion and reduction of stress and anxiety. So mindfulness reduces feelings of stress and improves anxiety and distress when placed in stressful social situations. And in being in school can be, for most kids, it can be a stressful social situation, especially in those first few weeks of school, for our new students. So if you are not aware, I just want to make sure you're aware, there is a district-wide requirement for teachers to implement 10 minutes of mindfulness or SEL within their classrooms each day. So that goes above and beyond the school counselor's role. This is kind of taking my role out of this, and this is just for teachers each day. A minimum of 10 minutes of SEL is required to be within the classroom. So what does that mean for you guys? The district has really done a great job on providing weekly updates for you to use, so that you don't need to spend extra time creating any type of SEL activity. So I just want to show you real quick what what is forwarded to me each week. You can also sign up for these updates, or you may even just automatically receive them, but just to be sure, I'm going to forward them to you each week. They are the BCPS Weekly SEL Updates. And what that looks like is it's going to be an email coming from, it will literally say BCPS, SEL, and Mindfulness Toolkits for staff notifications. That's what it should say. So I guess that means you have to enroll in the staff toolkit, which I'll show you how to do right now. So each week you will receive an email from me or from the SEL Toolkit notification showing you what the recommendations are for your weekly SEL. So for example, this email that is included in this attachment shows the first week of school. So it tells you for the recommendations for the first week of school, SEL activities with ReThink Ed in Clever, which is an application that I'm going to show you how to access. So week 1, they're saying to focus on self-awareness topics. They go through each grade level, which lesson would be most appropriate for them, all the way up to 8th grade in our case. There's also Inner Explorer, which I'm going to show you how to access that, which is a great app, which is basically audio, like 10 minutes of audio meditations, but it's a wonderful resource. And it gives you literally step by step, like each week of what you can do in your classrooms. So I will be sending out those emails to you each week. So please look out for those. The first resource that I want to show you is the SEL and Mindfulness Toolkit, which is a Canvas page. So when you click on this link, I'm just going to copy and paste it into my browser. This is what's going to come up. So it says BCPS SEL Mindfulness Toolkit for staff. You just make sure that you enroll in the course, and this houses all of SEL information really that you can possibly need for the week, and each week they're going to be sending out updates. So when you go here, you just click on the Educator Toolkit, and all of these resources will pop up for you. So Classroom SEL, Early Learners and Elementary gives you what you can do each week, and you would be doing the Tier 1 since that's whole class. And then also middle school educators, you would go ahead and click here, and it gives you your weekly recommendations, which says week 1, awareness of self and others in ReThink Ed. Okay, so that's the Educator Toolkit. That's how to access it. So now I want to show you more specifically what these resources are that are available to you. So you have ReThink Ed, which is a curriculum of SEL. It's like an SEL curriculum. It's very much laid out for you. It's very prescripted. You could literally just download the lesson and go from there. They have videos that you can play and have discussions about. It's really easy to implement. There's Inner Explorer, which I'll show you, Stanford Harmony, and then this was the 10 minutes of mindfulness toolkit that was in this slide that I just showed you. Here's the link. So here's the toolkit. So please make sure you are enrolling in that toolkit so that you have access to all of those resources. There's a lot more on there that I didn't show you. You just kind of have to play around with it and see what's on there if you're interested. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll show you a little bit more in depth that toolkit. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you Inner Explorer. So all of these programs can be accessed through your Canvas page. So you just log in to, I'm sorry, not Canvas, Clever. So you go to Clever, and then you're going to search for Inner Explorer. Okay, and then I just favorite it so that it pulls up my favorites, and then I have it right here. So it's right available to me. So when you click on Inner Explorer, this is what comes up. You're going to, I clicked on elementary. It's going to ask you what grade you're interested in. You just click on your grade, and then it's going to populate with numerous basically meditations, breathing exercises, relaxation exercises and practices that you can use to start your class, or whatever time of the day you're doing your mindfulness. You can just go ahead and play this. These are really great. There's also transition practices, which are much shorter, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that you can use transitioning back from lunch or recess or anytime you need something short. The sound practices are basically just there's a gong, there's things that you can say if you need for like 1 minute. So those are all of the resources that are available on Inner Explorer. It's really great. Obviously, there's no preparation involved in this, so it's just kind of a click and play for Inner Explorer, and there's your 10 minutes of mindfulness for the day. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you was Rethink Ed. So this is essentially an SEL curriculum that is sequential. So I want to show you real quick just the scope and sequence. There is a scope and sequence for this, which will be included in the email that this PowerPoint is sent out on. So going back to the toolkit, if you go here, it's also housed in the toolkit, the scope and sequence. So if you click on Inner Explorer, I'm sorry, not Inner Explorer, we're in Rethink Ed. So Rethink Ed, they didn't put it on here, sorry about that. So your scope and sequence, it's actually in this email. K through 8 scope and sequence for Rethink Ed. And I'll send this to you to make sure you guys have it. So they are recommending to start, and it goes by grade level, and then see all the way down you have by grade level, and then by sessions. So they are recommending to start with awareness of self and others, and then per grade you have the lesson that applies to you. Session 2, they continue with the awareness of self and others. When you're done with that, you move on to the self-management component, and then you go to stress management, cultural competence, self-efficacy, and that's kind of should take you to the end of possibly even the school year if you do follow this Rethink Ed scope and sequence on your own. It's an excellent curriculum, very, very minimal preparation. You just review the lesson the day before you want to teach it. So I'm going to show you how to access Rethink Ed and how to use these lessons. So going back to Clever, you're going to search for, I already have mine here. Oh, I thought I saved it, but I would save it again just as I did the Inner Explorer, so you have it easily available to you. So I go into Clever, search for Rethink Ed. I would go ahead and favorite it. So I'm going to favorite my Rethink Ed right here. So in order to favorite a resource, just in case you don't know, you just click on the heart and it will move it up to your favorites, which will be right here. So once you are in Rethink Ed, I actually have access to, like, it shows me the whole school. So yours is going to look a little bit differently. So when you go to, I believe it's Program Tools, you're going to click on your lesson library. You're going to click on the grade and domain that you want to work on. So I would highly recommend just going off of the scope and sequence and following that to make your life easier, honestly. So always I would click on tiers 1 and 2 since this is going to be a whole group, and then your grade level, and let's just go off of their recommendation. The recommendation of the district, sorry, way too many tabs, is to do